No one will mourn his death, not least those friends and families of the tens of thousands of young protesters that were murdered on the streets of Iran in recent months. But make no mistake, this is a regime that he has run for decades as a source of evil. It has murdered its own citizens, it's exported terror, including to Britain. And my concern now is the increasingly indiscriminate attacks from Iran widely across the Middle East are putting British personnel and British people, civilians, at risk. And so my first job as Defence Secretary is to protect those British people, civilians and military, our British bases, reinforce regional security and do all we can to prevent further regional escalation, which is what the Prime Minister was talking about yesterday.
So you think right now Iran's retaliation is putting British troops and British civilians at risk across the region?
It is indeed. Let me confirm a few fresh details for you. When I talk about increasingly indiscriminate attacks, I know people at home will be worried that not just military targets were hit yesterday, but also we've seen hotels in Dubai and Bahrain. We've seen Kuwait's civilian airport. But in that Bahrain military base that was hit by missiles and drones yesterday, we had 300 British personnel, some within several hundred yards of the strike. In Cyprus, we had 2 ballistic missiles fired in the direction of Cyprus. Now, we are pretty sure they weren't targeted at Cyprus, but nevertheless, it demonstrates how our bases, our personnel, military and civilians at the moment are at risk with a regime that is increasingly indiscriminate, widespread, and uncontrolled in the attacks it's mounting.
But what are you actually doing about that?
Well, several weeks ago we've reinforced Britain's defences in the region. More radars, planes and weapon systems in place. We're flying British planes in the air throughout yesterday and overnight. That's defending our regional allies. It's reinforcing that sense of security, and it's trying to protect, first and foremost, our British bases and our British personnel, which is my principal priority as British Defence Secretary.